Logistics.
We are a logistics
We
company.
just do a hard intro.
We're
Soft intro.
soft.
Welcome to the main stand.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Here we are.
Season 2, episode 2. Here
That's
with the
intro.
boys.
I think this is. I like before we really tuck in. I like this a lot. Being together in a space.
This
is phenomenal.
Microphones. This is good.
I like the hard intros. It makes everything a little bit more natural. People
Yeah.
can see behind the scenes how much drama goes in
Yeah.
before these episodes to get everything cooked.
We're not kidding when we say we're not a logistics company. Let's just
We're
make that
figuring
very
it
clear.
out along the way.
I wish they could see the. I wish I could see that. If you guys could see this camera setup right now. Shout out Harry Potter. Shout out J.K. Rowling.
Oh,
for
maybe
making-
not
yeah.
shout out
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling.
She sucks.
Get us to podcast.
I'm almost done. I was gonna say shout out J.K. Rowling for making very thick books because they're holding down our standard now. We don't like her, but we like the fact that she makes thick books. That's it. Okay,
The thickest.
we should move on before I get us in trouble.
Anyway,
I can't.
Season 2, Episode 2 of the Main Stand podcast. We are coming off the heels of a pretty fun Community Shield game.
Yeah,
I
it was
had
a
a good
blast.
time.
I did too.
Pat came over, watched it with me this weekend.
Yeah, it was good. It was. I mean, I would have liked to have won it. Don't get me wrong. I think it would have been cool to have won the Community Shield.
Absolutely.
Get a one of England's 4 domestic honors on the table. Right off the start of the season. But at the same time, it's kind of like it was very much a tune-up game. It felt like for City. Liverpool looked really good though. You guys, Liverpool looked very good. You guys were like mid-season form.
We looked a lot better than I had anticipated, I'll be honest. I was delightfully surprised at how well we performed, and I think really the biggest miss was Allison and net, and it wasn't even like that glaring of a miss.
Yeah, Adrian had a few shaky moments, but when does he not?
I mean, Allison towards the end of last year had his fair share of shakers, but I think Adrian had a phenomenal game in net for the chances that came his way. He handled them well, and we ended up with a win. I think Nunez getting a goal is absolutely massive for the
Yeah, it was good for
confidence going into the season. But all in all, I was impressed by what I saw.
Yeah, and let's not blur lines. Liverpool's on pace for the pentuple now.
It's true.
We could win 5 trophies, so that's pretty big news.
First major trophy of the season.
It's 1/4 of a domestic quadruple. So
I know Bass is probably shaking his fist at me saying that. I've been grinding that on him all week. It's good to start the year with a really impressive, important, big trophy.
I mean, Darwin Nunez took his shirt off like it was the Champions League. So
Yeah.
I got that.
You got to be excited for the lad.
I mean, yeah, but it's the Community Shield.
He doesn't know. He probably didn't even know what game it was.
That's fair. He was like, I just scored against City.
We got
This
the
is the best day of my life.
spray bottles. We played City, and we get to bring a big plate home.
I think he had a few really nice passing and dribbling runs on the right too. He just made City
absolutely.
He
defenders
looked
look
good.
silly.
He looked really, really good. He looked like he was didn't take any time off this summer.
Yeah. And my 2 other things were that I think Holland and Nunez were both they both kind of strutted their stuff in terms of like how many opportunities they're going to get. They both could have scored 3, I think.
Easily.
Nunez ended up getting 1, but ultimately it tells a story that no matter how bad of games they have, they're going to score goals at the end of the day.
they'll get
They're both
themselves
going to get
right
over
there.
20.
And he had the header
Easily.
leading to the penalty as well. So, he came on and had an instant impact. Fabio also looked great in the midfield. He looks prime at 19 years old. The kid looks like he's been playing for years. It's actually a lot of fun to watch. He reminds me of Philippe Coutinho a lot. Just the style of how he controls the midfield has been really, really exciting. So I was really thoroughly impressed with Liverpool. And City do impress me. Like Alvarez coming on, getting that goal.
He looks great. I think Foden, Holland, Alvarez needs to be our front 3 against West Ham.
Absolutely.
Josh could attest. I was tired of Mahrez after 30 minutes.
He was.
He's good, and I really like Mahrez for what he does and what he brings to the game. But I just think the energy of Alvarez, the pressing, I think he needs to start along with Foden.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, your conditioning just looked poor in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You could tell Liverpool went to Austria and did that running, those running sessions, because I think the legs just lasted a little bit longer for the Reds.
I think City do always kind of tend to come out of the gate slow. You look at start of last season, we lost the Community Shield, we lost to Tottenham, We had like a convincing win against. It took Norwich to get the wheels rolling. So it's like rare these past couple of years for City to come out of the gates flying. The 2 years ago when we won the title in 18-19, we were like 9th at Christmas. So City and slow starts are kind of synonymous these past couple of years. So I'm not too worried. If we don't get a win in our first 5, then I'll be like, fuck, this is not looking good.
Yeah. I'd be concerned after 2 with the state of the Prem.
Nah. I mean, City can go on. You've seen City can go on 16-game win streaks in the middle of the season like it's nothing. So I'm not like overly concerned. It's just kind of falling into the rhythm.
Yeah, fair enough.
The first couple of games, I'm not super worried about it right now.
That's all we had on the Community Shield. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a preseason game. But we got the Prem this weekend.
It's a big weekend. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. There's a lot we didn't get to touch on last week with our roundtable episode. And shout out Justin and Farwell for coming on and being a part of that to discuss what's to come. But we have some fun stuff coming up this weekend ourselves.
We do, yeah. So before we get into the meat of the episode, I guess it's probably a good time to shout this out. All the lads will be right here. We'll be at the Portland Zoo this weekend, this Saturday, August 6th, 5th, 6th, August 6th. August 6th. Saturday, August 6th. We'll be at the Portland Zoo for the entirety of the day. If you're listening to this podcast and you're from Maine, or you're seeing this on YouTube and you're from Maine, definitely come down. We're going to be, looking for match reactions, chatting football, building a little, like, match day vlog, so to speak. Microphones there. We'll have a sign. I won't be drinking until at least 1 o'clock, but after that, come have a beer with me.
Specifically a Kennedy Park Pilsner.
Kennedy Park Pilsner. If you're there, make sure you get yourself a Kennedy Park Pilsner. Great beer for,
It's a great beer. Me and Pat actually had one last Friday. Drink Kennedy Park Pilsner.
Very good beer. If you're into great match day beer, nice light beer.
I'm gluten-free, so I'm going to be into the liquor.
Yeah, Mitch is gluten-free, but he still likes Kennedy Park Pilsner. You hear that?
It's really good. Yeah. So that was the little plug for the weekend events here. But, I think the biggest meaty part of this episode, is going to be we're going to talk Premier League table. So we're gonna do, it's like the famous scoring system. I forgot the YouTuber that did it, but come the end of the season, we'll come back to this and see how we did. So basically, you pick the position of a team. If you want to get the lowest score possible, you start with 0 points. If you get team spot on, you get no points for that pick. If you say Josh is gonna pick Liverpool to win the league. Say they finish 4th. Josh gets 3 points for that because he was Liverpool were 3 places away.
So it's like golf.
Yeah, you want the lowest score possible.
Okay.
The closer you get to where the team actually finished, the fewer points you get. Closest to 0 had like the best team. I think the normal like a good score is like 50 or 60. It's like a good score is what a lot of people say. I forgot the YouTuber that did this, but what we're doing is not original at all. Let's just make that very clear. We're not claiming this as the main stand's super original scoring system.
Proprietary.
Yeah, we're ripping this from someone, but I watched at least 15 YouTube videos, so we're allowed to do this scoring system too. So we'll go bottom to top real quick here. We'll start in 20th place. Unchanged from the events of...
Are we going around and doing 20th?
Yep.
Okay.
Around doing 20th, 19, 18, etc., all the way up to the top.
What happens if I forget who I talked about last week?
I mean, mine are different than they were last week, too, just with the recent events.
Yes,
that's
same.
like,
There's been
after
adjustments.
some early changes. So 25 Brentford still.
Yeah. Brentford going down, too. I don't know why I said yeah. That's a good pick, Pat. Preface, I got the top 3 right in order last year, so I think that gives me an edge.
Yeah, we'll see.
Bottom, Fulham. Fulham are absolute dog shit. 100% going down.
Bottom, Bournemouth.
It's fair. It's a good pick, too.
Yeah.
19th, I have Bournemouth.
I have Bournemouth in 19th as well. Not enough signings.
Not enough goals in the side, even if they made enough signings.
Dom Solanke won the Golden Boot at the U19 World Cup.
Phil Foden was Player of the Year, so...
Did he?
Yeah, he won the Golden Ball at the... It was at the U19 or the U21 World Cup.
Oh, okay.
When England won it. He got the Golden Ball that year.
I think it was in Japan or Korea, I believe.
Yeah. Foden won Player of the Year, but that's a tangent. Mitch, you got 19th.
19th Leeds. I had them going down last week. I'm sticking to my guns. I think this is the year that they bounce out.
Too many Americans.
Yeah.
I think they're staying. I think they're staying up. 18th. I changed my mind. Sorry, Fulham. Fulham are going down. I think the 18th. I think Fulham would finish in an 18th. Craven Cottage still fucks, but I think they're going to get relegated.
Nah.
Okay. I have Brentford, so I just switched 20th to 18th with you.
I have Brentford.
Nice.
I think Nottingham Forest are going to be on the fringe, though. I don't think they're going to be as good as people say they are going to be.
So we got you off the Nottingham fence.
We pilled them on Nottingham Forest. That's a win for me and Josh.
Yes.
I'll take that. 17th, I have Fulham. Or not Fulham, sorry, Southampton. I switched them.
Okay.
Southampton, I think, they're going to barely do it. It's going to, they're going to get by, the skin of their taint.
Okay.
They're going to stay in the league.
I had Southampton there today. Switched them. Everton. I have Everton in 17th.
I have Everton low, but not that low.
Southampton haven't got rid of enough for me. They still have 3 pretty good players.
Yeah, it's fair.
Nottingham Forest in 17th for me.
Okay.
I have a little higher than that, but yeah. I've got Leeds in 16th place.
I have Southampton. Again, James Ward-Prowse, Kyle Walker-Peters, Aribo looked really good last weekend.
Southampton as well for me.
I like Jesse Marsh. I think the Americans are actually going to be good. I think Marsh is going to know how to get the best out of those guys, and
Yep.
I think he brings a lot, similar to Bielsa, a positive mindset when they're playing, and I think that will in turn help them beat enough bad teams to stay up. They'll get 36 points. You need to guarantee 36, 40 points. You need to guarantee your place. I think they'll
40, yeah.
40. They'll barely hit that. It'll be close. I think the bottom
Adams is big for them.
Yeah, he's a really good big signing. Aronson too, right?
Yep.
They got
Yep.
I think he's going to be good for them as well too. 15th, I have Forest.
Okay, fair. I have Leeds, so I have Leeds finishing the highest of any of us.
It's fair. Yeah, I think they'll be good, but I think they're
fringe. They could go really high one way or really low another.
They could get relegated, and I wouldn't be surprised. So you got
We're
Fulham
in
in 15th.
15th.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll swap Fulham in 15th.
For those of you watching at home, we're using Mitch's phone to record the YouTube video, so Mitch is going fully off of memory, so give him a break.
We have post.
Yeah, 14th, I have Everton.
Nice. What do you think is the reason they get that high?
I just think
curious.
they have enough quality where we were surprised they were in the relegation zone. Let's just be very clear. They have enough quality there that if Frank Lampard can get the most out of 6 guys in his starting 11 over a 38-game season, they shouldn't be in a relegation battle this year. They shouldn't be. They're mid-table. They're not particularly good, but I don't think that they'll be fighting for their lives this season. I think last year was kind of an anomaly. I think they'll do enough this year to comfortably stay in the league.
If you guys watch our interview with Taylor Mannix, we talk about if DCL gets injured. That happened today. DCL is hurt. Rondon is going to start the season at striker.
That's tough.
That's tough for the F.
I might flip-flop them with Leeds in that case, but
they do
I'm
have
stick
enough quality.
Did I speak it into existence last year? I don't want to look like I dodged him because I was talking shit about Everton all at the end of last season. I genuinely had a doctor's appointment, so I apologize for missing that. But Everton scare me because they don't have the depth. If this DCL injury goes into a long period of time, it could be a shaky start.
Yeah, it could be, but like I said, I think that they've got enough there. You look at Everton, they're better than Leeds, Fulham, Southampton, Bournemouth, and Brentford. They're just a better team than those 5 sides. Just look at them. I think Lampard is a fucking bad manager, but I think he'll get enough out of them to get him over the line.
In my place right there, I have Forest. So, again, that's another team I have finishing higher than any of what you guys said. I have big expectations for Forest.
I think they'll be good. I think
a ton of business.
I think they'll feel like Brentford last year, but I don't think they'll tail off as much.
Yeah,
I think that they might struggle to beat some of the bigger sides. I just don't think that they've come up against some of the quality that are even in the top 8.
No one really talked about them because they did the promotional playoff thing, but they were the last place in the championship before Steve Cooper came, and since then he's won more points than anyone in the championship or Premier League.
That's impressive. And they did beat Arsenal and Leicester in the FA Cup, right?
And they only lost to Liverpool 1-0.
So they are good. Maybe I'm tripping when I say that they won't be used to the quality. Maybe they won't be used to playing the quality like as much is what I'm trying to say. 3 one-off cup games, I think it's maybe easier to get your guys up for than fuck, we have to go to Anfield again this year.
Fair.
I guess I could take Everton 14th as well. I could realistically see them being that kind of like cap to the middle of the table, just fighting it out for a full season, trying to figure things out. If they're going to be bit by the injury bug.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. For full disclosure, before preseason started, when I was making my table, I had Everton at 10th.
Oof.
And then I watched their preseason games and like really thought about it. I was like, there's no shot. There's no shot.
Yeah. No.
So, I mean, we'll see. Who knows? 13th place, I have Wolves.
Oh, okay.
I have Wolves in 13th. Okay. I think Wolves are a good side. I think that they've kind of been outperforming their XG for the past couple of years. I don't think that I think they're a defensively solid team, but I also just think that the teams above them are either just like are better than them and will stay better than them, or have added enough quality where they'll finish ahead of them just with what they've added to the side.
I'll get into why I like Wolves later. But in my place right there, I have a surprise team. I have Leicester City.
Leicester dropped on my table due to Schmeichel leaving, but I still think that they're like a decent enough side to finish in the top half of the table.
I think it could be a calamity of a season for Leicester. It doesn't seem like anyone wants to stay. You have Madison in the rumors. You have Tielemans in the rumors.
Yep.
Jamie Vardy's linked with Man United.
That'd be crazy.
Now, there's a lot of people like on the fringe. I think this is the year Brendan Rodgers finally gets the sack there.
I think if they lose enough players before the season starts, could very well see them dropping. I don't know. I don't see them moving all of those players
if
at
their
the same
front
time.
Three actually ends up being like Harvey Barnes, Kelechi, and Daka.
Yeah, that's a 13th
10.
place top 3. That's a 13th place top 3. Love you, Kelechi, but that's a 13th place top 3. That one's pretty up in the air for me. I can definitely see where you're coming from. I think they can do it.
There's going to be some Premier League teams though that are buyers for these players late in the transfer window, and the season's already started. And James Maddison and Youri Tielemans are going to be like that last commodity that a Man United can go grab, especially if like that Frankie De Jong deal doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
They have to go get someone. They have to splash 40 on Tielemans.
Yeah, I guess in fairness, looking at mine, Leicester aren't like that much further away from where you have them on my table. I mean, we'll get there. But
half of this whole segment is just convincing each other we're wrong.
They're close enough to where you are that I think
lots of self-doubt and overthinking.
That's fine. Mitch, who do you got in 13th?
I got Villa in 13th. I think they're a little bit lower than people might expect. I think Steven Gerrard's going to try and get the most out of what he has, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to really propel them to anything crazy different from last year. I think all the teams ahead of them, or like right ahead of them, like Newcastle, leapfrogging ahead. You have a bigger race at the top 6. I think those fringe teams really fight it out, and I think they're going to find themselves trickling down to 13.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That I have them higher than that, but I think you make a good point, and I think like 13 to 9 or 8
toss up
can kind of be tossed up in the air too. And
it's like that this next pack is just like it's changed so much in the last 48 hours.
It's going to change in the next 3
I believe last year too,
7 days.
8 through 14 was separated by 6 points.
Yeah, it's going to be close no matter what. 12th place, I have Brighton.
Okay, I like that.
I could see them lower if Cucurella ends up actually moving on. So far, it's kind of up in the air. Where if he's going to go anywhere, it's not going to be City though. But I can definitely see. I think they're a good side, and I really rate Graham Potter. I just don't think that they really have the juice to beat a lot of these teams, and unless they need to learn to play at home, or they're not going.
They're real bad.
They're not going to get the most out of this season. So that's why I have Brighton in 12th.
I have Palace in 12th. I think that's a good season for Palace in 12th. Zaha might be a little bit unsure. I know there was links with him and Jose at Roma.
Yep.
If he stays, I think it'll be a good season. I do think Palace, they've gotten a lot better under Vieira. So.
I agree. Yeah, I have maybe a shock place for Palace. But I really like Vieira. I really like Vieira's Crystal Palace.
He's very good.
I do too. In 12th, I have Leicester. I think just with the amount of question marks up in the air, I think it's just, and especially losing their rock in net is just.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be a gaping hole.
It's gonna be hard for them. 11th place, I have Leicester.
Okay.
I think they're right down there too. But
again, a lot of these ones are pretty interchangeable.
Yeah. I think they'll be better than the teams below them, but I just don't. I think there are 10 teams better than Leicester this year for sure, with everybody leaving.
I have Brighton next. I think Basuma hurts them, losing him.
I didn't even touch on that, but yeah, that's a big loss for them.
Yeah, they're a hard team to beat though. At the end of the day, they get a lot of draws.
Unless they're at home, then they're not a very hard team to beat.
Yeah,
I also had Brighton in 11.
Okay, cool. 10th place. This is my
top 10.
This is my shock. I think Palace are finishing 10th.
Top 10 finish for Palace. You get some good odds on that.
I think Palace are really good. I think what Vieira's doing over there is great. I think they're a really, really good side. I think they're going to beat or take, maybe not beat, but they're going to take points off of a lot of good teams this year. I think the way Vieira has them set up, the way Vieira has them, just bought in to what he's doing over there, I think it's going to be a good season for Palace.
Okay. I have Wolves, so I have them quite a few places higher than you. I think pound for pound, their defense is the best in the Prem. Jose Sa, I think, was probably a top 3 keeper in the Prem. Then you have Ryan at Norway, Max Kilman, who's a baller, Connor Cody, and then they just brought in Nathan Collins from Burnley, who's very good ball-playing center back. If they can keep Ruben Neves and Morgan Gibbs-White had like over 20 goal contributions in the championship last year.
Yeah, they'll be good.
I think they can be pretty good. I think Gibbs-White really helps Raul up front too.
Yeah,
Raul
very
struggled, so he needs some creative partners. But
I think Wolves need to get a little bit more out of the forwards. They didn't do as much last year, like Pedro Neto and guys like that.
Yeah,
I think the goal contributions from guys like that need to come in. And then the guy they signed too, I forgot his name, the Spanish forward, I believe, that they signed. He had long hair. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
He's on loan to, I believe, Anderlecht.
Oh, he's gone now.
Fabio Silva.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
They did sign Hwang Yi-chan on a permanent deal.
Yeah, he was good for them at the end of last season too. So maybe I'm wrong on Wolves, but I think there are a few teams better than them. 10th place.
10th place, I also had Wolves.
Okay.
Nothing crazy extra to touch on.
Everyone's against me on this, man. I hate it here. 9th place, I have Villa.
Okay.
I think Villa finish top half. I think they finish top half. I really like what Gerrard's got going over there. I just think they've got the quality about them to be a top half side. I could very easily also see them finishing as high as 7th, but I think 9th is like realistic for Villa this season.
I have Villa in the same spot. Again, I don't have Villa going lower. I think there's an opportunity for them to go higher. They really strengthened the spine in Diego Carlos and Boubacar Kamara.
Yep.
And Gerrard's starting to play kind of a Milan Christmas tree formation. Takes a lot of time to really make those combinations with the outside backs and Coutinho and Buendia up top.
Yep.
I think the second half of this year, that's really going to start clicking.
Yep, completely agree. Yeah.
I had Palace in 9th. So I have them cracking the top 10 as well. Just
they're good.
A little bit higher. I do love what Vieira's doing. I think Conor Gallagher leaving is the biggest question mark. But
yeah, that's fair, but I think they've got enough.
Yeah, they do have enough meat around.
His loss will be missed, but I think the role he played, they can get someone to do it. Maybe not as effectively, but someone can do it.
Top 8. I believe we all have the same 8 teams.
Yeah, we do. So in 8th, I have West Ham.
Same.
I think they're very good, but yeah, that's about it. I think it's about where they finished last season. I think they're a very good side. I think 9, 8, 7, maybe even 6 could flip-flop around a little bit. I think the top 5 are going to be the top 5 this year, but I think that middle of the pack fighting for Europa League area is going to be as tightly contested as the middle of the table until like the last 10 games of the season, and then I think the people who are like going to solidify their spots are going to start pulling away. But
are they in the Conference League?
Yes.
Okay, so they still have European football.
In Europe, yeah.
I again have them in the same position. not really much to say about West Ham. They're a little bit inconsistent at times. But yeah. Mitch?
I have Newcastle. I have Newcastle in 8th. I don't know if it's going to be something similar to Forest, where if it's like a little too much all at once, or if it's been a nice blended off season. I think it's going to be a time will tell situation, but I don't think they're going to achieve the expectations that some people are setting forth for them.
That's fair. Yeah. I have Newcastle in 7th, so not too far off. But I think they'll be fighting for Europa League this year. I think a lot of the new signings that they've brought in are really, really good. I think Trippier's really good. I think a full season of Bruno is going to be really good. I think the new role that Joelinton has found himself in, he's excelled at. I think they're a really, really good side. And I think Eddie Howe is a good enough manager that when he doesn't need to pick his players, you just give them to him. He will get the most out of his team. I really like the ball that they were playing at the end of last season. And I think they really do carry that into next season.
Yeah, Bruno was really starting to cook at the end of last season as well. A little bit of an aura building around St. James Park again. So I have him in the same place, just outside the top 6.
I have West Ham in 7th.
It's fair.
So
Yeah,
just
flip-flop.
flip-flop.
Yeah, it could go really go either way. I think we all have the same team in 6th place.
Yes.
United.
United. I was going to go 3-2-1. And then
Sorry for ruining the fun.
I'm mad at you, but it's fine. Yeah. Not much to say about United. I think we touched on it in our top 6 preview. They're just...
Still confusion about Ronaldo.
Yeah, they're fine.
Dumpster fire.
I guess, but I just don't think they're going to do enough. Talk to me next season. Talk to me next season about United. But this season,
year. Yeah.
I think 6 is a fair place to put them, with them like putting the metaphorical wheels back on, so to speak. I think this will be that season, and then like next season we'll like
You're rebuilding the frame before putting the wheels on.
The frame is like kind of there. They're missing like a door, maybe. 5th place. I changed my 5th place from the preview episode. I did some reflecting, and I have Chelsea in 5th.
Smart man.
Arteta attacks.
I have Chelsea in 5th.
Smart man.
Arteta attacks.
I saw Arteta play You'll Never Walk Alone at Arsenal training on Amazon, and it just sold me. But no, I think I don't know, man. We saw the last time Chelsea spent big. They underperformed. They gave Frank Lampard $200 million when he got sacked. Tuchel came in and like pushed him across the line to 3rd place, and yeah, they won a Champions League. Fuck off. But I still just don't think that. I think Arsenal are a better team with a better identity, and I think that there's just something about him this year, man. Maybe it's I really like Gabriel Jesus, but there's just something about him, man. I think they're gonna do it.
One thing we haven't touched on is like less the distraction of all the cameras this year. Like
no cameras, no Aubameyang drama.
No, like they have a new captain. They looked so much better when Aubameyang got settled. Like that whole thing just was a thorn in their side for so long. They finally started finding their feet toward the second half of last year, and yeah, they stumbled because of injuries, but I think Arsenal are a very strong side. I think Arteta is finding his groove as a manager, and I'm excited to see what the new pieces do. I think Arsenal are going to have a phenomenal year.
So you've also got Chelsea in 5th?
I also have Chelsea in 5th.
And you have
Arsenal in
5th.
I'm still not sold on Arteta. I'm not sold on their defense. I think Jesus scores a lot of goals. Mm-hmm. That's undoubtable.
I think that is the reason. I think they concede a good amount, but I think they because they have a forward with a better nose for goal right now, I think they will outscore opponents more than Chelsea will. I think when Chelsea get put in losing positions, they don't have a guy to push them over the line sometimes. I think Jesus can do that for Arsenal in games where they just need to put the ball in the back of the net one more time. That's just like the one reason I see them.
I think I like Chelsea a little bit more in like the one-off game on a Saturday when you just need guys with Premier League experience to kind of get you over the line.
Well, they've added a lot of guys that sorry to cut you off, but they've added a lot of guys that don't have Premier League experience too.
That's
to be fair,
too. Yeah, that's fair. I like the guys. I don't know. Chelsea just give me more of like that experience vibe, game management more than anything.
That's
especially
fair.
with Tuchel.
That's fair.
Arsenal still are just like a little bit of a wild card to me, and
They're
it's
young.
like,
Odegaard's their captain. They're young.
yeah, they concede a lot of goals late in games still. Until they prove me wrong of that and make me eat my words, I'll ride the Arsenal. It's been 5 years since they played in the Champions League.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot to get him out of it, and when you still have Xhaka as one of your starting midfielders, I'm not going to be completely sold.
That's fair. That's really, really fair.
I think some other dead weight has also been removed too. So
no more Lacazette. He's ass. He's so bad.
I would agree with that.
I think him finally being gone is going to help them more than. You don't even have to think about him playing anymore. I don't rate the kid at all. 4th place, I have Arsenal, obviously.
Yeah.
I've talked about it enough. Don't really need to talk about that anymore.
yeah.
I have Chelsea.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't need to talk about that anymore. We just
Yeah.
flip-flop them. I think they can go either way, honestly. But
Koulibaly, I do think he'll make a big difference.
I think he would have been a huge, like, monumental talk about this signing like 3 years ago.
When he doesn't have, if they put him right in the middle and don't make him run a lot.
So you're going to make Thiago Silva run a lot?
Make them both not run a lot.
I don't like I said on the round table, I don't think Koulibaly is going to be this step-in replacement for Rudiger. Rudiger was unplayable last year.
Yeah, he was
absolutely unplayable. And I don't think Koulibaly can fill those shoes so fast. And I think Chelsea are going to struggle a little bit with a hole in their defense. They're going to have to change shape and play a completely different way of football.
That's fair. I think he's better than Gabriel, to be fair.
Yeah, I agree. I'll agree with that. 3rd place, I've still got Liverpool.
Okay.
I still think they're going to finish down there. I think they're one injury away from a really rough spot. I get Konate's good, but I think they're just... I'm still just not completely convinced by their movement in the window. I just think the teams around them added enough to get them through those tougher patches in the middle of the winter where you're playing on 3 different fronts. Sometimes I just think you can't count on a team staying completely healthy over the course of an entire year. You add in the World Cup in the middle of it too. I just think that the teams around them have a little bit more depth, and I think that that'll carry them just far enough. But again, I could see them. I think the top 3 are going to be the top 3 this year. You can kind of interchange them. I just I feel like Liverpool are finishing 3rd.
Yeah, fair. I have Spurs. I think that's the highest Conte will take them.
It's fair.
No more, no less.
So after the Community Shield, I did feel
some reflecting.
I did some reflecting and some soul searching and remembered what it was like to be a Liverpool fan.
You got Tottenham in 3rd.
Nunez took his shirt off, and I started feeling things. No, I think I was just a little sad, still pretty bittersweet. Haven't processed Mane leaving. Liverpool played really, really well. Bobby had a phenomenal showing. I hope that we can get him injury free or fewer injuries this year. Get more out of the man. I know we've had him for a long time, but Nunez looks fine. I'm excited with our added youngsters. I think I'm taking Tottenham in 3rd.
It's fair.
Over Liverpool this time.
I gotta somebody's gonna get these takes out on this podcast.
I really, 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 really wanted to be a bitter Liverpool fan, but it's not gonna happen.
That's fair.
We looked really fucking good.
Yep.
So
2nd place, we've got Man City. No, I'm just kidding. Tottenham are finishing 2nd this year. I think they're good, man. I think they're gonna be really good. I think Conte's gonna do a lot of good for that side. I think a full season with all the pieces that they've added is gonna be great. I think Kane Kulusevski's son can rival your front 3 for best in the league. I don't think he starts, but I think he's a good player.
Great to bring off the bench.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
Like a Jota, almost.
Yeah, I think Liverpool and Tottenham have the best forward depth in the league. Out and out forwards. They have the best left wing in the league. They have arguably the best striker. You guys haven't been on the right wing, and we haven't seen Holland or Nunez really do anything in the Premier League. So you can speculate that they'll be better than Kane, but you look at Tottenham's front 3 on paper, and it's the best. I think it's the best in the league. I think Nunez is a little unproven. Same with Diaz, and Heung-min Son is coming off a golden boot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like them a lot. I think they're going to be really good this year. Their midfield's really good. Their back four is relatively unchanged. I think Longley helps a lot. And they've got, Hugo Lloris, he's the French Joe Hart, but he can save it. He can save a shot.
I have City in second for no other reason that I haven't already said. I think it's more of Liverpool winning the league than City losing it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not just going to sit here and talk about everything that's wrong with City, because I don't think there's much wrong with City. It's that I think Liverpool edges them out at the end of
There's
the day.
a lot going right at Liverpool.
Exactly.
So to speak. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Less of what Liverpool, the Man City-Liverpool rivalry is like not necessarily one team being bad. It's just one team being like unstoppable. You have to be perfect.
I think you can argue that the changes in City's team may be like, why Liverpool edged them out. I think that you've had a lot of fewer changes in the system, and you really haven't had to change the way you play too much to fit anybody in. I think Carvalho, how do you say his name? Carvalho, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Sorry, nobody roast me, please.
It's okay, he's learning.
Yeah.
He's learning.
I'm a stupid American. Yeah, I think he slots into your team very, very well. I think Nunez you've played with strikers in a system like that. I think he fits in well. So, yeah, I mean...
You have to remember, too, it's a season where you're bringing in... Virgil's not coming in like half fit. And we didn't have Luis Diaz the first half of last year either. So you think, like, if, Nunez can replace Mane's goal output, you have a Diaz for a full year and a healthy Virgil, Liverpool's lost less games than City in 3 of the past 4 years. If they can cut out some of those draws...
Then they win the league.
But
it's will they cut those draws out?
Exactly.
Can Nunez step up in those situations that we saw Mane step up in when Salah just wasn't scoring? Because he always has those little periods every year.
And
he goes.
It needs to be when neither one of them were stepping up, though. Like, that's the little extra layer to the onion. It's more, can Diaz cover Mane's output, and can Nunez be that lethal sniper when we need him?
Score all year?
Can we just get him to put the ball in the net, and I think we'll be fine.
Yep. I think that's fair. I also think something Josh mentioned, Thiago's fitness too.
Thiago needs to be fit, but at the same time, if he's not as fit, that gives him time to rehab and work with Fabio and shaping a really strong midfielder for the future.
That's for the future, though. If Thiago misses more than 10 games, we're not winning the league.
I also don't think that Thiago... I don't think that Fabio... Fuck. You got too many people that sound the same. Fabio is not even a similar profile of player.
But
to Thiago,
just working with a veteran midfielder, I think is beneficial for a youngster.
It's like Foden, just seeing the talent when we developed him. So it's similar to that.
Midfield side.
Can I, without ranting, can I make one other point too?
Yep.
Yeah.
The World Cup, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. I'm speculating on Liverpool, and I got this off Jamie Carragher too, so I'm not trying to take credit for this idea. But Liverpool has quite a few players who aren't playing in the World Cup.
City have a lot of players that'll be in the World Cup.
We have Andy for Scotland, Louis, Mo. Konate probably won't get called up to the French side. We have quite a few players who are going to get like full rests.
I like
that.
I think City's starting 11.
Maybe that doesn't play any. Maybe it doesn't make an impact.
It will. We saw the biggest issue we had with De Bruyne in our long season was his ankle. And Roberto Martinez is not a game manager. De Bruyne is going to play. And De Bruyne is going to want to play, in fairness, every single game for Belgium in this World Cup cycle. But
giving Mo a month off, I mean, Erling will as well, because Norway
isn't in it.
But Mo especially, just like when he gets a month off, his fitness just skyrocket. I think him getting a break in the middle of the year is huge.
I think that might actually help Mahrez too, because I don't believe Algeria are in the World Cup.
No, I don't think so.
But yeah,
there's something that we haven't really talked about.
Yeah, I think almost City's. I preferred starting 11. I think every single one of them are in the World Cup. Yeah. City's entire starting 11, except for the right wing spot, is in the World Cup. And then if it's my preferred starting 11 with Alvarez on the right, every player is in the World Cup. So I think that will play a part this season. It's not something I'm particularly thought of in making this table
with
prediction.
Injuries and whatnot, that could completely change the shape of the Premier League table.
Completely agree. That being said, however, City are winning the league.
And I also think City. have what it takes to win the league this year. Like Pat said, slow start, but ultimately it is City. They'll do City things and somehow come out with a trophy at the end of the year.
I think Guardiola builds teams made for marathons, not sprints. And I think ultimately that's what's going to push us across the line at the end of the season.
That was a good conversation. We definitely touched on some stuff that we didn't get into last time. Touched on a bunch of teams, some good transfer talk, all that stuff. I think it'll be interesting to see how our stuff plays out. Ultimately, I think the middle of the table
is the spiciest
because it's not weighted like if we get the champions right.
Yeah, nope. So, it's all going to come down to who gets the middle, the best. So that was talking the league.
All of it. That was talking all of it.
Every single one of them, all 20 of them. Let's just talk match day 1 for a second here. I don't think there's a ton of games that we really need to really get into. I mean, we can talk about Arsenal, Crystal Palace on Friday. I think that's Chick-fil-A. I think that's one game that there will be a lot of eyes on because it's Arteta's first competitive test with all of his players, and they're away from home, which was their kind of like kryptonite, so to speak. And Selhurst Park is a tough place to go play. Bleh. How do you guys feel about this game? And then I'll give my 2 cents at the end. It's not anything super crazy, but
no, I think this is going to be a good showing for the Gunners. Ultimately, I think they're going to be able to outpace Patrick Vieira. What? What, Josh?
What?
You're sitting there smiling at me.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the stat. I just read Arsenal have lost their opening Premier League match in 5 of the last 9 seasons.
That's hilarious. But you know what? They're going to right the wrongs this year.
I think it's going to be 5 of the last 10 because I think they're going to 2-1. I'm saying 2-1 Arsenal on Friday. I think they get the job done. I think they've looked really good in preseason. I think Palace have looked good, but I think Arsenal just looks sharp.
Jesus has gotten so much time in this squad. I think, out of the new signings this summer, he's probably... I've seen his name in the side the most, if not...
He's always fit. He'll play 38 games for Arsenal in the league this year.
So, I don't know. I think they've had time to bond. They've had time to play together. I think Arsenal have made a lot of really good improvements. They're going to put out a strong side, and I think that's going to overpower Vieira's lack of midfield.
I like them. I think they beat Palace on Friday.
I have Arsenal as well.
That's funny. Just the way you've been talking about them. I think it's funny.
No, I do remember the opening match last year. They played Brentford and lost.
Yeah.
So that was a fun little memory.
Funny. Is there any other games on Saturday to not Friday, but Saturday is like Liverpool are going to batter Fulham.
Yeah.
There's not much to talk about there, I don't think. I think Villa-Bournemouth is a little interesting because it's Bournemouth are back in the league. They're playing at home. I think
the home environment at Bournemouth stinks though.
Yeah, I think Villa do beat them.
I feel like Newcastle Forest is a match to watch just because I feel like people you two especially, I've been playing kind of the Nottingham negative asshole for the last 2 weeks.
And you just said that Newcastle are going to underperform this year compared to what everybody else thinks. So this is just I think the fuck Mitch Derby.
Yeah, this is the Mitch fucking up everything about football because he doesn't play football. No, this is the derby for the average Joe who just wants to watch a soccer game.
This is the Premier League. This is
the most Premier League game.
Two classic clubs.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game.
I have 2-2.
Yeah, I think Newcastle win, just because of home.
I think Newcastle will win it 3-2.
I like 1-0.
I love when a good promoted side comes up. I love them on the opening day.
Yeah, if they were playing at home, I would like them. I think they win their first home game.
Brentford went crazy last year. We just brought that up. That Brentford game was electric.
I think Forest win their first home game this season, almost irregardless of who they play. I think they win their first home game.
Please be City.
That'd be really funny.
City.
Tottenham Southampton's a little bit tasty. I feel like Tottenham usually struggles against Southampton.
I think they're going to batter them.
I think they will too,
especially batter them.
Yeah. Tottenham is an easy pick over Southampton here for me.
Leeds Wolves could literally go either way. It feels like a 2-2, or a 1-1 to me, like you said, but I don't know. Jesse Marsh just might get him out flying on the opening day. So who knows?
Everton, Chelsea, Lampard having to play the Chelsea on.
Does Chelsea drop points opening day?
Fuck no. 2-0 Chelsea.
Is it at Stamford Bridge?
No, it's at Goodison.
It's at Goodison.
2-0 Chelsea. My opinion. Yeah,
Chelsea win. Yeah,
I think Chelsea walk away with that.
I don't know.
3-1.
Yeah, whatever. And then we get into Sunday's fixtures. Leicester Brentford. I think that game's gonna suck ass.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch this game. I'll take Leicester City because they still have everyone.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the Zoo. I'm going to be at the Zoo all weekend for what it's worth. Hopefully I think they'll have United Brighton on, which should be a good game, honestly, for Ten Hag. First game at home, Brighton, decent side, better on the road than they are at home.
Probably won't have Kukurea if he's getting the transfer talks.
Then he's probably gone by Sunday.
Ronaldo's probably not involved as well, though.
Yep, that's fair. So who do we got there?
United.
United.
I like 1-1.
Okay.
I like 1-1.
That's your upset.
I like 1-1. And then we get into this one. This is actually my upset. I just have City have lost the opening game the past couple of years. I like almost. If you say 1-0 West Ham, I'm not gonna be mad at you.
What about 2-1 West Ham?
I won't be mad at you. I think it's gonna.
This is the one I had last year. I had West Ham plus 1.5, so they just had to lose by 1 or draw or win, and they beat you. Mm-hmm. Remember?
I'm taking West Ham 2-1.
I think I have a draw.
Yeah, I have a 2-2.
Just because I don't know, you didn't look 100%.
I have 2-2. I think if we beat West Ham, we're gonna just like scrape by or get a dodgy ass penalty. But I don't think we win the opening game of the season this year.
West Ham's offense ain't too bad.
They're
got
good.
The Skamaka guy,
and we've got
pretty decent.
An injured Laporte, so our back four is going to be Walker, Diaz, Ake, Cancelo, and if
Stones.
I don't think Stones will start because of fitness missing that much preseason.
Antonio would probably body him too easily.
No, Stones is a hard man. Shut up. I love Stones, but yeah, I don't think we win the first game of the season. I would like us to win the first game of the season. I'll be rooting for us very heavily to win the first game of the season, but I don't see it happening, unfortunately. It just doesn't feel quite right.
I think that wraps up the Premier League talk for this weekend.
Yeah.
Got one shout out from last weekend. We never got to talk about it. England Lionesses winning the Women's Euros.
Women's Euros. They brought football home.
Yes, before the men.
They did it. That was good for them. Loving all the celebration videos too.
Yes.
And the now very iconic photo of I forgot her name, but when she scored the winner, took her shirt off, spinning it over her head. There was that
awesome.
one frame of her like spinning her jersey, and you could see like her name like perfectly over her head. Someone tell me her name and call me mean names in the comments.
It was a great football match, and it was a great football team. It was very cool. I think a lot of people from England probably never thought they would see that day where a women's football team were cheered on like they were.
Yeah, so it seemed like the reception for them was dope, so that's really good to see.
Women's football definitely has over the last year. Like I just hear about it more regularly. Like it's being talked about more. I feel like it's being distributed a little bit more, and to be able to watch it from across the pond is a lot of fun.
Yep.
That we're able to pay attention to it over here.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I believe the only thing we have left to talk about is
we got to talk about our fantasy team.
Yes,
for this
fantasy
weekend.
team. Thank you.
I think our team is dog shit. I think if you're in this league, and if you're not in this league, you're wild. Like it's one of you's winning a kid at the end of the season. I think we're ass.
I think we're actually pretty good. So I basically already made my. So basically, we'll explain the rules to the listeners. Is that you join our league, you still have time. As long as you do it before opening weekend.
Yeah, you can join after opening weekend too, but like, come on.
Have your back against the wall. Come on.
So like obviously deadline is Friday, so day of
to get
listening,
your team in.
But message us on Instagram or YouTube, correct?
Instagram. Just subscribe to the YouTube. I'm not going to check. I'm not going to make you send us a screenshot. But
just send us a message on Insta.
Scout's honor. Subscribe to our Instagram.
And send us a message. We'll get you the password into the league. If one of the listeners beats us, the three of us have a collective team together. We will buy you a kit of your team for the 23-24 season.
Or we'll just buy it for you at the end of the year and get you the home kit or the away kit from this season.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
From DHgate.
Yeah, the $10 version. So,
yeah, I'll buy it off. I'll buy it from someone on like a street corner. It won't be a real jersey at all. But no, it'll be a real kit. We'll get it from like World Soccer Shop or something like that. We'll ship it out to you. And, you know, because you're fans of the show, we'll like put some signed shit in there too for you, you know? Maybe a sticker, a koozie. Who knows?
Go over the team. The start in 11.
The starting 11 for this weekend. So you're going to get some insider tips on our fantasy theory as well. So we went with the double premium strategy for this weekend. 2 premium players with a back 5 to try to get points out of like productive fullbacks.
I'll be honest, I don't even know what the fuck double premium means.
So it's like players that are like over $10, I think, is a premium player.
So what, Mo Trent?
Trent's 7 because he's a defender. He's 7'5", so that's why. So in goal we have Sa. I think from Wolves. I think there's a good chance to keep a clean sheet. He makes a couple of saves. He'll get us decent points there. And then we have a back 5 of Alexander-Arnold, Guehi from Palace. I think they won't keep a clean sheet, but neither will Arsenal, and he's a productive fullback from last season. Good chance of getting an assist. Digne, I think he's a really good chance of getting some points for us against Bournemouth. Good chance of Villa keep a clean sheet. West Ham away, Cancelo, again, just a productive fullback from last season. Good chance of getting in on it. He'll definitely start. The only one that might need to change before the last day, we have Cucurella in there.
He might not play.
He might not be there, so we might have to swap him out. If we do, it'll just be another good fullback. Honestly, you might throw Robertson in there.
Yeah.
If he can't play.
If we can afford him, yeah.
The midfield, because the weird midfield rules. But Mohamed Salah, he's captaining the side this weekend.
Smart move.
He's scoring a fucking hat trick against Fulham. I can feel it in my bones.
Salah in opening day is peanut butter and jelly at this point.
He's scoring. And then we have Ben Rama from West Ham in the midfield. Probably starts. I think West Ham have the best upset potential for the weekend. And then he's a productive.
He scores
midfielder.
bangers too.
Yeah, he's a productive midfielder. He'll get in there. And then we have Bruno from Newcastle, not Fernandez, not the fraud.
Penandez.
Yeah, and then our forwards, we have Jesus and Holland. Holland, our second premium player. He's one to watch. If he doesn't immediately hit the ground running, I think we swap him out for Kane. It'll hurt my pride a little bit, but we probably do that. And then I think Jesus scores loads this year. I think Jesus is probably like best money for value in
most
FPL.
selected player on Fantasy Premier League out of anybody.
I think he's just best money for value. I think he's going to score loads, and he's only like $8.5, so I think he's just a good buy. Really high upside. You can get him out for someone around the same price, but I like him a lot. We're not going to go into our bench because it doesn't really matter, but the player we're putting stonks in this season is Awonyi.
Taiwo, baby.
I can't say his last name, but we're putting stonks in him this season. I think he's going to have a decent year. I think, I can see him 10 goals maybe.
Yeah.
9-10 goals.
Scored 15 in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, he'll get in there. I think he's a good player.
The onion bag will be stretched. We will be seeing the net bulging all year from Taiwo.
I like him.
If we had to pick a manager, who would we pick in a virtual world?
If we had to pick a virtual, what do you get points for like the result that they do this weekend?
Who was the best result plus minus?
Who had the best media day?
Probably Klopp, honestly. Like, you guys are going to batter Fulham.
True. Fair.
You're going to batter them. We have City have a hard game this weekend. Like,
I don't know. Gerrard has potential, too.
Yeah, Gerrard, Klopp, maybe Arteta if Arsenal are really
aggressive.
I
was leaning Arteta if Arsenal come out of the gate hot.
I think if you're picking a manager for your team, it's Klopp. This weekend, absolutely.
Josh just wanted to get you to say
it. Got that soundbite.
I mean, you get this next soundbite. Guardiola's still the best manager in the world, but, it is what it is. I'd pick him this weekend.
That's going to hurt my ears when I go to edit.
Good. I feel like it just ingrains itself in your brain when you go to
edit.
I have
PTSD already, and it hasn't even happened.
Good. I think that was that's about it. Thanks, you guys, for listening. We'll catch you next week. And again, if you're in Maine, come see us at the zoo tomorrow. It's on me and Josh's hat. We'll be drinking
Kennedy Park Pilsner.
We'll be drinking Kennedy Park Pilsner and watching the football all weekend. I'll be there the whole weekend. I'll be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But just for the game, to farm content from Arsenal fans, we'll be actually doing our thing Saturday. Yes. And then I'll be there to watch City on Sunday.
And I'll be there at some point doing something with these guys.
Yes.
While we watch soccer.
Roll.
Deuces.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.